Hola, sup, bonjour. Welcome back to this week's episode with me, Jilly St. John. I'm very happy to be back again this week. I hope you've had a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. This week I am back to talk about quite a serious subject, one that I have personal experience with. And actually, since putting it out on my social media platforms, I've had quite a large response to it. I'm so very grateful for that. Thank you very much. So this week I'm talking about anxiety and panic attacks. Just a little bit about my experience with anxiety and panic attacks. I've been sort of in the real throes of it for sort of the last 8 to 10 months. It was very much stress related. Panic and stress can actually be quite debilitating. I found myself at one point very rarely leaving the house. I did sort of make an effort to go out once a week at a minimum, but I spent quite a lot of time here at home and in fact quite a lot of time in bed. I had an overwhelming fear that I was going to die, which was actually brought about by the panic attacks and the anxiety. It was a repercussion of those. I suffered from everything from palpitations to numbness of the hands and face, an increased heart rate, constant adrenaline that would very rarely go away. I would have about a minimum of 4 panic attacks in a day, every day at one point, and that lasted for quite a number of weeks. When I was out, I might start to take one and I would feel the need to leave wherever it was that I was. I had a severe loss of appetite on top of the fact that I already didn't eat very well to begin with. I also suffered from detachment, quite a lot, unable to focus on anything that I was doing or conversations that I was having. A real sense of sort of living inside my own head, which is weird. That scared me quite a bit. It turned out then, having spoke to my therapist, that it's actually a coping mechanism to allow your brain and your mind time to work itself out. I want to go through a few of the questions that some people have asked me. I would like to point out that I am in no way qualified as a counsellor or psychologist, although I do have a really good understanding of people. I have a really good understanding of myself. Basically, I just want to share my experience and things that worked for me with other people in the hope that maybe it might work for them. On with some questions. I was asked about antidepressants and I was asked did I take any and how I felt about them. Personally myself, I don't like to medicate. I don't know, I've always had this thing where I like, if I can help myself, if I can feel happy and relaxed in myself and not because of a drug, then that works for me. In the throes of desperation to feel normal and to feel better, I did take one and it didn't feel great for me at all. In fact, it suppressed my appetite further and made me feel more anxious. I don't know if that ended up being a psychological thing or an effect of the drug. I have been advised that there are sort of small side effects with antidepressants that do level out after taking them for a few days. So if you are in a position where you feel like you need medicated help, absolutely go for it and just ride it out for the first few days. Obviously, if there's anything that's worrying you about what you're taking, please do go back to the doctor. The number one thing that helped me through the whole experience was talking to somebody. 99% of the people who've contacted me have said that counselling or talking to someone was absolutely the best thing that they ever did. Absolutely, without a doubt, those are the types of words and descriptions that they're using. I have been in therapy actually for a couple of years for a lack of appetite for my body weight, I guess. I am a recovering anorexic, which is a completely separate issue, but that's what I was in therapy for, and I was just so lucky to have the most wonderful therapist who set aside basically what she was brought in for to help me through the panic and anxiety. And I must say, you know, if it wasn't for her being there to, you know, so that I could talk to her and not worry about what she thought or how it affected her as someone in my life, you know, I'm not really sure how I would have dealt with it. So yeah, please do contact somebody and talk to them, be it a friend, a family member, or a professional. And I know, because I had this myself, that there's this fear with some of you have mentioned about going to talk to a stranger, or what will you talk about, that you feel uncomfortable talking about whatever it is that's causing you stress. Please don't worry about those things at all. These people will have heard it all. They will have helped all kinds of people with all kinds of issues, be it alcohol, drugs, relationships, depression, low self-esteem, you know, eating disorders, self-harm, all these different things, all these things that can cause anxiety and panic. They'll have heard it all. They'll be able to help you. And if they aren't able to help you, they'll have the contact of all the people in your area that will be able to help you. So please don't feel uncomfortable about it. Don't worry about what you're going to say to them. You're just adding another worry to all of the worries that are already on you, that are causing you to feel this way. And that's not what you need. And that's not what these helplines and websites and these people are designed and trained for. They're not trained to add another worry to you. They're there to take them away. Other things that worked for me, when I started to feel proactive about my personal condition, I decided that I wanted to try yoga. And I have to admit that that's the other huge factor that has helped me deal with panic and anxiety. I remember going to my first class, and it was one of those things where I had to sort of peel myself out of bed and just go and do it. I was like, I need to do something about this. So I managed to make it to a class, because I'd been putting it off for so long. I was really anxious about joining a class, about walking into a room full of strangers, you know, various different things. I had serious low self-esteem, and I had to sort of just grin and bear it. I just went for it, and it was the best thing that I ever did. I remember at the end of that first session, just thinking to myself, oh my god, that is the first hour in months and months. I didn't think about outside stresses, I didn't think about other people, how I was affecting them, I didn't think about any of the things that were worrying me or upsetting me, and it was just an awakening. Not only did it do that for me, but yoga incorporates breathing. If you personally have ever suffered from panic or anxiety, the ability to breathe, and to breathe normally and regularly and calmly is just, it's the best feeling. But not only that, I guess from being at home so much and not doing anything, and having all this excess adrenaline around my body, the workout itself as well actually gave me an outlet for physical stress. I was able to sort of burn off any excess energy that I have. If I'm at home and I feel anxious about anything, you know, because I've been given these tools by going to this class, I can just sort of launch myself into sun salutations, which is great, and various different positions which actually aid breathing. If you are stuck for ideas in terms of an exercise routine, I would absolutely recommend trying yoga. It's not strenuous on your body. You know, whenever I first went to it, I was at a really low body weight, as well as anxious and stressed out to the absolute eyeballs. So I didn't have a whole lot of physical stamina about me, and I found it nicely challenging, not strenuously challenging at all. So it's something that you can adapt to your own physical ability over the months of doing it. You know, obviously that grows and you can do more. When you're suffering from low self-esteem, being able to do more and watching yourself progress and grow gives you a real sense of achievement in yourself, in doing something for yourself, which for me has been invaluable as well. You really sort of struggle to to acknowledge what you're good at, or if you're good at anything at all. So I do absolutely recommend working some sort of exercise routine into your week. I would absolutely look at your diet. Anything that you think might be unhealthy for you, it probably is. Things like processed foods, takeaways, things with high cholesterol in them, caffeine. Caffeine's a major one. I had to go back and look at my diet because I wasn't really feeding myself very well whenever I did eat. You know, I would be taking things like coffee and pizza and things like that. I didn't really think that they were having an effect on me. I just was sort of looking for the most calorific thing at that point because I wasn't eating very much. But I did sort of go through a total detox period where it was all salads, all vegetables, raw even where possible, good seafood and fish. I've been living on coffee since I was like 16, 17, and I have completely cut coffee out of my diet altogether. I have a cup which I mentioned there the other week, and it just sent me straight off. I had been panic free for quite a number of weeks and I ended up having 2 panic attacks in that night. It does raise your heart rate, and coffee naturally makes you sort of feel up and when you start to feel like that, you could set yourself off again. There's so much to talk about with this subject. Health anxiety can come as a trigger on its own. You're going to die. You think you have brain tumours and cancer and so many different things. In actual fact, anxiety can trigger health anxiety. You get this heightened awareness of it where you can feel every little thing in your body. And what you basically have to do in that instance is acknowledge the thought and let it go. I know this sounds really simple, but it's something that's worked for me as well. You have to just keep telling yourself that it's in your head. Don't overanalyze it. Acknowledge that you felt it. If it comes back again, maybe you'll think about contacting your doctor for a checkup. 9 times out of 10 when anxiety and panic is involved, there's very little, if nothing, wrong with you. Try and be in the moment where that's concerned and breathe through it. Breathe through it. It's all going to be okay. Other little things that helped me were Tiger Balm. Oh my god, that stuff is life-saving. A big deep inhalation of that can do you the world of good. If you're suffering from your tightened chest pains, which I would get quite a lot, or muscular tension, which I would get quite a lot, you know, rubbing it into that really helps as well. Calms as well, for those of you who don't want to medicate in terms of the traditional methods of medication from your doctor. I would highly recommend CAMs. Some people say that they're placebo, and in actual fact, before I started taking them, I thought they were a placebo. My friend was like, have these, they're amazing. And I was like, but they're just sugar pills. And she's like, no, seriously. And I took them before I got on a flight. I'd never been scared of flying before. Suddenly I had this innate fear of flying. I took them before I got on the flight and I was fine. They actually do work. I wouldn't take them all the time, but if you feel something coming on, they usually work within sort of 15 minutes to half an hour. Regular massage is amazing, and I don't know if you've ever experienced severe muscle tension, but that can spark off hypochondria or health anxiety in itself, because you constantly have all these twinges in and around your core, which is where all your good bits are. All the bits that you need to survive and live are. Massage definitely helped me through a lot. Just the feeling of, again, of being able to breathe, of feeling physically relaxed would aid my mind in relaxing. Find yourself a hobby. Find yourself something that you love, that you enjoy. When you love and enjoy a hobby, it's much easier to focus on it. Therefore, taking the focus away from all these things that are causing you anxiety and panic. Making these YouTube videos has been one of the things that has really worked for me. It's given me a little purpose to part of my week. So not only was I doing them for you guys, but it was also for myself a little bit, in that I had a little bit of structure in the throes of anxiety and panic and depression and all those things. You don't really want to do anything. When you have a hobby that requires a little bit of a schedule, something that you need to keep to, that keeps you that keeps you ticking over and it keeps your mind focused as well. If you are drinking excessively, if you're taking drugs of any kind, I cannot stress enough to you how you need to cut that down, or please, if possible, cut it out for at least a while anyway, until you get your head straight. I know sometimes there's people out there who want to party and have a good time and they think these things help them do that, but when you're in this state and when you have these problems, all they do is amplify them. They might in the moment make you feel like you've escaped your problem, like you can let your hair down and have a really good time, but the reality is that that will come to bite you in the ass. Please trust me when I say that if you're drinking or taking drugs of any kind, that it is not going to help your sense of anxiety, your sense of stress, your sense of depression, your sense of detachment, your sense of panic. And there is help out there, you know, if it's so difficult for you to stop doing any of those things, whether they're recreational, social, or addiction, you know, there are people out there who can help you do it. What I want you to remember is that you are in charge of you. So if you don't want to feel like this, and you know that this is something that's contributing to it, then you have the strength to not do it. You have the strength within you to say no, that I don't want to do it. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And please remember that sense of empowerment. You're the one that's in control. You might not be in control of all the exterior factors in the sense of, you know, what other people are doing or what other things are happening, or, you know, but you're in control of you and how you deal with them. So please do remember that. I hope I didn't ramble too much, and I know that normally I'm sort of full of beans and having a bit of a laugh, but you know, this is a very serious subject and one that means quite a lot to me, and I hate to see other people suffer, and that's why this video is here, because I feel like, you know, I can help in some way just by sharing some of the things that worked for me. The links that I'll be supplying below are links that have been suggested to me by people who have suffered from panic and anxiety and decided to contact me. Thank you for those. One person actually suffered quite badly and still is learning to cope with it, but she's gone on herself to become a counsellor as well and has recommended a couple of things that she found really useful for her. Well done to you, darling. Well done to you. If you're watching this video from outside any of the areas that I've supplied links for, please do check out the websites that I've included. Some of those you can go on and chat anonymously to a stranger about your problems. Do as well also Google helplines in your area. You know, they are everywhere. There will be one there that can help you. If you're watching this and you know someone who does suffer with anxiety or panic, you know, stay strong for them. They really need you. They need consistency, they need support, and they need someone that they can feel comfortable with. So just keep doing what you're doing. Be patient, be positive. Try not to worry too much about, you know, whether you're doing enough for them. I know that that's appreciated, and in fact actually sometimes the more that you do, the more pressures put on them to try and feel better. So just, you know, just try and be a sense of normality for them. Support them in their times of panic and anxiety. Try to keep their mind off the things that's worrying them. That's probably the most helpful thing that you can do. And thank you for listening. If you're watching this and it's you that I'm talking to, I hope you feel better soon. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope to see you back next week. Please, people, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. If you're feeling bad today, this is what you have to do. You have to join in with me. Join in now. Are you ready? Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. This is my message to you.